Every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
Hey everybody, this is TotalGamerJunkie. I want to welcome you back to my channel. So, I was going to take a break from Life is Strange Double Exposure news for a while as I wanted to focus on Lost Records. But this recently came out and I knew I had to make a video of it. I wanted to make it sooner, but I was working, so, better late than never. So I want to give a shout out to ex-user Kino, who I learned this from. You see, Life is Strange, whether it's Deck 9 or Square Enix, is going to be near London recruiting Life is Strange superfans to take part in some paid research that's apparently you need to sign an NDA if you want to be part of it. And I want to discuss this with you and what I believe this means for the future of Life is Strange. Also, I want to talk about Lost Records and how that's going to play into this. Now, one of the narrative directors, Felice Kwan, said this after Double Exposure, all the chapters were released. She said, "At the end of the game, we see that Max Caulfield will return. We have great plans for exciting new adventures with Max, stronger after the events of Calderon and ready to face both her past and her future." So, it's clear that the plan is to continue with Max as the protagonist. This game is like Dragon Age Veilguard, a soft reboot for the franchise. However, like Veilguard, this is not going so well, and I don't think that the people over at Deck 9 anticipated this game not doing as well as they hoped. This is what the game director Jonathan Stauder had to say about the reception. "With the reviews for Life is Strange Double Exposure, we've got some really high highs and a couple of low lows, but I think that's better than it coming out and being just really middle of the road. Some people are having a strong reaction to it, whether it's positive or negative, and I find that very interesting. It's not something I've been through before, so it's all new to me." Now, it's not really high highs and a couple of low lows. Some people enjoy the game, some people don't. And it's not just Chloe and Max's relationship that really is the problem of the story. I'd argue, like, as much as I love Max and Chloe, to me, that's the second biggest issue. The first issue is the writing. It is not good. There's so many plot holes. I made a video about, who was it? CBR did an article on all of the plot holes that this game has. I'll leave a link to that article in the description below if you want to check it out. But that's the main issue that this game has. They claimed that this was in the work for years. They knew what they wanted to do, but the truth is they didn't. They made a story with plot holes and inconsistencies, and overall, it's a sequel for the sake of a cash grab. There's really no love put into this game. It's a simple cash grab. And that's what makes this survey so interesting. I think that they know they're in deep shit. Whether it be Deck 9 or Square Enix, they know that what they've done, there hasn't been a good reception to it. The audience and critic scores aren't what they expected it to be. So they're putting out this survey and asking fans questions about, okay, what did you like, what didn't you like? Now, as I don't live in London, I can't take the survey. But if I check a link that Kino left, we can actually see what the survey says, and I want to read that to you right now. "Thank you so much for registering your interest in participating in research about Life is Strange. To participate in this research, 2CV will be asking people to take part in 90-minute focus groups in a central London location on 11th December. We'll be talking about Double Exposure and hearing your thoughts on key elements of the game. You do not need to have played Life is Strange Double Exposure to participate. We are offering a $90 payment as thank you for your time," or pounds, I believe that's what the currency is called in London. "Please rest assured that any of the information 2CV collect is kept confidential. Your feedback will not be shared publicly, and it is just to support the Square Enix/Life is Strange team. All information gathered by 2CV is covered by the Data Protection Act and can only be used for research purposes by 2CV. You can read 2CV's private policy here. You will have to sign a strict NDA to take part in the research. Can I confirm that you are happy to take part in the research on this basis? Now, I obviously cannot qualify because I'm not in London, and even if I was, I would not agree to an NDA as I find it to be quite ridiculous that these people are asking, okay, we want to know what you superfans think, we want your feedback, yet we're not allowed to discuss this. But there is someone who posted a comment. Now, I'm not going to name who this person is because they posted one of the questions from the NDA, and this is what it was. I won't say who they are because I don't want them to get in trouble, but you know, I've already been in trouble on YouTube before, so I'll just make another channel if anything happens to mine. So this was what one of the questions were. In this quiz that you have to take, or however this goes, because this person took it, they mentioned that when they're asked did they sacrifice Chloe or Arcadia Bay, they type in their answer, and then it will say, please tell us why you chose to save Chloe or Arcadia Bay in as much detail as possible. Now, this is actually quite contradictory to what they've originally said before the game has come out. We've heard numerous times that this game, Double Exposure, you don't need to play the first one, you can jump right in. But no, you do. I mean, that ending scene in episode 5 when Max has that trippy nightmare sequence where it's her pointing a gun at Safi, repeating the lines Nathan said to Chloe, her being restrained, and you're hearing Jefferson's words from Lucas. So if people who aren't going to play the first game, they're not going to know what's going on. So that was a blatant lie. And just like this next part, because I know that they're pretty desperate to get people to come in, to get feedback, this is what, if we go back and we read what that legal notice was, like the NDA, it says towards the very end here, you do not need to have played Life is Strange Double Exposure to participate. What do you mean? So you're hosting this thing for research about Life is Strange, yet you're saying you don't need to play Double Exposure to participate. Like, what the fuck? This reminds me of, I don't know if you've seen it recently, but Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is like the ultimate edition. The game's so bad, it's like $6.99, like 90% off or something. Like, it's ridiculous. And it's reminding me of this. They're offering a $90 payment, and so they're not even serious about actual fans coming in and discussing their issues. They just saying, okay, come in, have $90, give us your thoughts. Like even if you haven't played the game, if you've watched them online, okay, then yeah, you know, I'm willing to accept that. If you've watched YouTubers play it online, alright. But this is just ridiculous. And this is why they should be grateful, because Michael Cook originally, I don't know if it was his decision or not, but if I'm remembering correctly, Lost Records, the first part, was meant to come out December, but him or the team, who I don't know who it was, they pushed the date to next year to let Life is Strange breathe, so it could sell well. And I gotta say, that was pretty cool of him, because he made the first two Life is Strange games, and this new one is a sequel to the first ever game he made. So I was like, wow, it's pretty cool of you, letting Deck 9 have their spot in the sunlight. But no, because that game, Lost Records, I guarantee you, because they've been the Switch, I think the game for Double Exposure for the Switch is out and has been selling. So if Lost Records, the first part, came out, I do believe the sales for that would have oversold the Switch, as people would have been like, oh, okay, I want to go play this. But I'm not too sure, maybe I'm wrong. But what I do believe to be true is that Lost Records, when it comes out next year, is going to be what we want in a Life is Strange game. Because just slapping Life is Strange on a title doesn't make it Life is Strange. It's like, and I'm not trying to diss like True Colors and Before the Storm. I have a little bit of issues with continuity with Before the Storm, but it's still a good game. True Colors is a good game too. The ending was a bit bland, but still a good game. And but the tone from the first two games, you could feel that it wasn't really there. But this Lost Records is not a Life is Strange game, but it's from the people who made the first two Life is Strange. There's when Don't Nod makes their games, you can tell there's a lot of love and passion in these games, something that's sorely missing with Double Exposure. They're also not afraid to tackle certain issues, like the second Life is Strange. Like when I was playing it, I always was a bit annoyed. It was like, oh, that racism's just a bit in your face, but that's what people are like. Well, not everyone, but there's a majority of people that can be racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, and that's something that's not gonna go away. Like sometimes people are born that way, they end up believing stuff like that, and I like how Deck 9 tackles those issues, especially in the first Life is Strange. You know how they dealt with Kate, how she was being bullied, and which eventually drove her to commit suicide. Like, not saying that's good, but the way they handled it, that stuff happens. It's real. And that's one of the things Double Exposure is sorely missing. It felt too safe, like they didn't want to offend too many people. So, like, you can tell it was lackluster. It was watered down compared to the original one. And even their other sequels, like Before the Storm and True Colors, they just felt that they had to be safe not to offend certain group of people. And that's why I'm looking forward to this one. There's this chick, she calls the main character Swan, she calls her ugly. And, I do believe, because we see that she's a bit on the larger side, so no doubt there'll be some fat shaming going on. Which I'm all for. I want a game that focuses on these issues. I don't want a safe, bland type game. Show me the real world. Show me how people react. Show me what the darkness and the ugliness of what the world really is. It's not all sunshines and rainbows. And when this game comes out, you're going to be damn sure I'm going to be playing it. I'm going to stream it the second it comes out, February 18th, 2025. I'm going to make sure, a month in advance, like, tell my boss, oh, I need that day off. Or it might be the 19th when it comes out for me, but yeah, I'm going to make sure I have that day specifically off so I can spend the entire night just playing and live streaming it and going over my thoughts, because this could be, if this game does decide to become a franchise, because we've seen Don't Nod, they haven't done a franchise, like a continuation, since Life is Strange. They've had Tell Me Why, which is a great game, Twin Mirror, which is a bit meh, but I like that as well. What was it? Just Sant? I haven't played that one, but I think that was them. And then there was one more before this, if I'm remembering correctly. I can't remember what it was. But regardless, I honestly, if if Lost Records becomes a franchise, and they start making sequels like Lost Records, Blood and Steel type thing, like whatever the next titles would be, I do think the Life is Strange series will have a competitor. This will be like Saints Row and GTA, except I do believe Don't Nod will beat Deck 9 in the game department. And there's one last thing I want to bring up too before I bring this video to an end. If the sequel to Double Exposure decides to bring back Chloe, I guarantee you 100%, because there's been some issues with Deck 9 and Square Enix with Ashley Birch, then Chloe's character, and they didn't like Chloe, they wanted to get rid of her, and they did it in the worst possible way possible. So I generally believe if they bring Chloe back, she's going to be in a relationship with Victoria 100%, because they'll be like, no, we don't want to ship Max and Chloe together. We'll bring her in the game, but we want players to move on to these other characters we've developed, which if they do that, then yeah, guarantee that fans are going to be fed up. Like, don't bring Chloe back just to do this. No, we want Max and Chloe together. Well, I suppose it works out well for you, price chasers or whatever the ship's called. So congratulations, you got what you wanted. Well, anyways, that's really all I wanted to talk about in this video. I do hope you enjoy it, and do let me know what you think in the comments below. Could Lost Records become a new franchise series? Could it compete with Life is Strange? Do you think Double Exposure will work? Like, will the sequel be what we want it to be? Let me know in the comments below. This is TotalGamerJunkie, signing off.